Do you know that it's possible to remember everything that you read and also reproduce every information that you need in an exams or an interview? My name is Grace Kalu. I have the trademark of excellence and God is my foundation. I am on a mission to instilling these mindsets of excellence in the minds of people all over the world. In today's video, I'll be talking about how you can remember everything that you read. How to remember everything that you read. I recall a time in the university when I had to write an exam, and when I set my eyes on the questions looked back at me, and for a moment it seemed as though I forgot everything I read. I was calm in the exam hall at that time, and I said a word of prayer, and in less than 5 minutes I was back up writing as though I never forgot anything. This is to let you know that it is actually possible to remember things and recall information at every point it is required of you, be it in an exam or in an interview. In this video, I'll be sharing 2 tips that will be helpful in the course of remembering. Number 1, practice how to remember. The word remember is a verb, and a verb is an action word. That means that some form of action is required when you say you are remembering something. This also means that at every point you should be deliberate and intentional about remembering whatever you read or any information that is at your disposal. The art of practicing how to remember happens in the course of your study period. So while you are reading, you ask yourself questions like, when I see this thing in exams or if I meet it in an interview, how will I remember it? And then the wisdom to remember it will actually come and you will take note of that wisdom. I'll share some practical tips which have helped me over the years. Number 1, you can ask yourself a question like, if I see this particular information in exams, how will I remember it? Now you can actually attribute that principle, that theory, that formula to something, be it to a human being, your best friend, your pets, your car, anything. You can have a red car, and whenever you are reading red blood cells, you will remember your red car and remember principles that concern that particular topic. It could be that you are reading about court processes and you remember how you visited a courtroom. So everything you saw when you visited that courtroom will come alive in your mind and play out as you are currently reading, so that you can always recall that information when you need it. I've also talked about attributing certain concepts to things you can easily remember. It could be like I mentioned earlier, it could be your friend, it could be your car, it could be your phone. You may want to remember the botanical name for apple, and you remember that you have an iPhone. So you just attribute that botanical name to your iPhone or your MacBook Pro, and you are good to go. Another thing I want to share about practicing remembrance could be forming mnemonics. Remember Mr. Niger D in biology, characteristics of living things. It makes it easy for you to remember the characteristics of living things like movement, respiration, and all others. You can actually form mnemonics for different procedures that you want to remember, and you always recall it whenever you need it. The third thing I want to talk about under practicing how to remember could be composing songs. I find this one very interesting because, growing up as kids, there are a lot of things we tend to remember till now because there were songs that were composed to help us remember those things. I'll try to remember some of those songs and I'll sing it. For example, the river Mississippi. Let me sing the song that helped us learn it, or helped me learn it at the time. Mississippi, Mississippi, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-I. I can never forget the spelling of Mississippi to date. I have 2 more. I remember hippopotamus. Even as an adult, if you want to spell hippopotamus, you would definitely remember that song. H-I-P for the hip, P-O-P-O for the hippopo, and T-A-M-U-S for the hippopotamus, tamus. I can't forget the spelling of hippopotamus because of that song. And then the last one I'll sing will be the different books of the Bible. Growing up, I had to do this sword drill where you get to open scriptures very fast. You have to know where the different books of the Bible are. So you will not be looking for the book of Joel in the New Testament, or you'll not be looking for Esther in between Ephesians and Philippians. So I remember this song we sang then to learn the books of the Bible, and I'm going to sing it. I hope I still do remember. Yes, I remember the song. It goes this: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts of the Apostles, Romans, Corinthians, then to the Galatians and the Ephesians, and to the Philippians and the Colossians, Thessalonians, Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, Peter, John, Jude, and the Revelations. So you see, I can remember the books of the Old Testament and New Testament because it was simplified and put in song. So that way you can actually put in those theories, those philosophies, those principles, everything you want to learn, you can easily compose them into songs and sing it. And the same way you get to know the lyrics of some songs, like from beginning to the end, without necessarily having to sit down and practice it. If you compose your principles, your academic work into songs, you realize that you get so used to singing those songs that those principles stay with you forever. Try this and let me know if it's really helpful. In summary, you can explore creative ways to remember things. You can put things into pictures, put things into designs, just so you can creatively remember it when you are required to reproduce the information. And lastly, on this point, make a practice of studying past questions. Past questions are questions you could get from the school library on that particular course, questions that have been asked in previous sets. Or if you are going for an interview, you can ask people that currently work there or people that took the test before you things to expect, and they'll be able to put you through. So through these questions, you would have an idea of what to expect, what to prepare for, how to structure your answers. And in practicing these questions, you are indirectly remembering all the principles or remembering everything that you read. The second point I'll speak about is pray about remembering. Pray about remembering. Now, praying for something, especially your academic work or test or interview, makes you conscious of the fact that you have a prayer waiting to be answered, and then you are highly expectant to see that prayer come to pass, to see that prayer answered. When I was in the law school, I remember then I had some topics that looked difficult, and I wrote in my journal one day, I said, "Dear Lord, I prayed last week that as I read joinder and third-party proceedings, I will understand it, and then I understood it effortlessly. Now, I pray this prayer ahead of corporate law on Friday. Help me understand everything about corporate restructuring, about winding up, about foreign participation." And without mincing words, when I read those topics on Friday, that particular Friday, it was easy to understand because I was reading with the mindset that I had a prayer waiting to be answered, and this made me insist that whenever I read this thing, I must understand because there was a prayer waiting to be answered. So take your studies seriously, take your academics seriously, take that job interview seriously, pray about it, and God in His infinite mercies will rise for you and give you the wisdom that you need to remember everything you read. And then if you find yourself in the course of an exam and it looks like you stare at a question and suddenly every information in your head just flies away and you can't remember everything, don't feel discouraged. Don't give up. Insist. Stay there and pray. Your prayer could be, "Lord, I remember when I was revising this thing, I prayed about it and there was wisdom. Show up for me again, Lord." After praying that prayer, carry your pen and start writing again. Start writing whatever comes to your heart, trusting that the wisdom of God will direct you to the right answer. So your prayer about remembering should always be, Lord, as I'm about to read this topic, I pray that I will remember everything I'm reading. My brain will reproduce this information at the required time. And when you are in the middle of that exam or that interview, you can just pray in your heart, Lord, please give me the wisdom to express these answers the way it is on my inside, and you'll find it easy to express the answers. You will actually see that the answers that you need are inside of you and you can bring them out. I hope you have been blessed by these tips. In this video, I spoke about practicing how to remember, and I shared different tips using mnemonics, using songs, practicing with past questions, being creative, in the art of remembering. And I also emphasized the place of prayer. Ensure that you apply these tips, and if you already apply these tips, let me know in the comment section how it has been for you, and let me know generally if you found value in this video. Finally, before I go off, I would like to recommend a very impactful audio resource. It's a message titled Outrunning the Chariots of the Brilliant, and you can find it on the Supernatural Student Telegram channel. It's a 30-minute audio that will refine your mindset about God's desire for your success and how you can practically bring out this success that God has already placed in you. I'll put the link to download the message in the description box and also in the comment section. Ensure that you listen to the message and also join the Telegram channel, and invite others to also be a part of this value you are getting. Thank you very much for taking our time to watch today's video. Till I come your way again, my name is Grace Kalu, and I am the mentor.